Good afternoon and welcome to our travel talk for this week. We are heading to the British Isles, which is an amazing destination. We have three great tours coming up next summer. We have England and Wales and Scotland and Ireland. These three really different destinations, but kind of similar destinations. So the tours blend really well together while giving you a unique look at the vast differences amongst the different British Isles. We are very lucky to have with us Liz from CIE Tours, who is our partner for this. They are specialists in this area, which is why we use them. And Liz is going to take us on a little virtual holiday this afternoon as we go explore the British Isles. Hi, Liz.
Hey there, Marianne. How are you today?
I am very good. How are you?
I'm well, and thank you for having me. And welcome to all of you who are on. You're in for a treat, I think, because Marianne has chosen some amazing destinations, as she said. They're similar in a way, but definitely very unique. I think what it is, that the landscape, is just absolutely stunning. So no matter which tour that you choose to book on, and actually the Women's Travel Club also created these so that you could do combination tours. They all link up perfectly. They start and end and start again if you wanted to link two tours together or all three. So we'll talk about that, but thank you for having me. And if you're ready for me to begin, I'll launch right into it. I know we have a lot to cover with the three tours.
Yes, take it away.
Perfect. Okay, so the first one up is the England and Wales tour. And this one, we're going to go into each of these in depth, but I just wanted to mention, so we have England with Wales, June 7th through the 16th. It's basically, obviously, an overnight flight, so you depart the day before June 6th. So we have the beauty of, again, of this fantastic area. Then, of course, we have Scotland. This itinerary begins June 16th through the 23rd. So again, if you are joining us, for the overnight flight, that would end up being actually June 15th. So again, just keep in mind one day before. And then the third tour that's been chosen is Ireland, as Marianne had said. So June 23rd through July 3rd. So as you can see, they all hook up perfectly together, like I said, so that if you wanted to combine, you certainly could. I just wanted to give you all just a little bit of, if you're not familiar with who CIE Tours is, I think it's important to know. Marianne, thank you for alluding to, we are the niche tour operator to Ireland and Britain. And the reason I say that is because we will be celebrating our 89th year in business beginning in 2021. And we really only, up until the past couple of years, only offered Ireland and Britain. So that's why we feel that we are indeed the premier tour operator to these destinations. We fill, as a tour operator, the most number of beds, hotel beds, out of any other tour operator based on how many people that we bring over to these amazing destinations. So with that, the tours that we offer, we don't include any optional excursions for you to purchase when you're at the destination. So what you see with what's included is indeed what you get. So there is no out-of-pocket expenses, at least for optional excursions. It's all included. Again, we feel we've been in business just shy of the 89 years, so we certainly know what we should include on the tours, and we worked very closely with Marianne and Debbie on that. And then the other thing of importance, I think, to note is also our tour directors who will be with you throughout any of these itineraries, as well as any local guides that will be taking you out on some of the sightseeing. They're all local to the destinations. And again, I think that's very important, because when you're traveling to different countries, you want a local to take you around and share with you everything that's important to that particular country. And again, with being in business for so long, we have, over 3 million happy travelers who have experienced our destinations with us. And with that, I'm happy to say that we do have a 95% customer satisfaction rating, which we strive always for 100%, of course, but there's always little things that, you can't please everybody, right? But definitely, I think, I mentioned who we are because I do want you to also know that CIE, it actually does stand for something. Many people have asked me over the years, Liz, does CIE stand for anything? And it translates into Chorus Umper Éireann, which is Gaelic, and it means Ireland's national transport company, which means that my parent company that's in Ireland, Dublin, Ireland, is basically responsible for the public buses and trains that run throughout the country of Ireland, meaning that we're actually part of the Irish government. So you can rest assured, you are in good hands. You're traveling with a financially stable company. So I just wanted to share that with you because, I know, you're spending hard-earned, dollars to go on vacation. And I just want to kind of, if you weren't familiar with who we were, I just wanted to give you a little bit of insight. One other thing to note too, we are a company that does continue to give you documents. Our guests rave about our documents. We include a backpack that you see here. We include luggage straps, or one luggage strap, luggage tags, also an adapter, because of course the current is different at the destinations. We even include a poncho because keep in mind, of course, that there is a reason that these countries, have that wonderful lush greenery, and it's because it can rain. So, we try to have you prepared for everything. So that's just a quick snapshot of what our documents look like. So you will receive those as well. And again, I mentioned the tour directors, local guides. Again, these are folks who are passionate about what they do. They love to welcome guests to their country and really immerse you in the destination that you've chosen for vacation. They love to tell stories. They sing songs. They may even dance for you. They may wear their kilt. So honestly, they make it as immersive as they possibly can. And so I think you're really in wonderful, wonderful hands with our guides. And, you'll travel in luxury in our motor coaches. And like I said, you're just in really, really good hands. So that being said, let's launch first into the Wales itinerary. So I wanted to give you England and Wales, and I wanted to give you just a couple of photos. You will have a visit to the town of Bath. Bath is known for their underwater springs that they have. So there is a visit to the Roman baths, just a great visit. You'll be able to go down and see the pump room. Plus it's a charming little town. Also Westminster Abbey, of course. This is the traditional place for all of the coronations that take place for the monarchs. Also burials for them as well. But just very beautiful Gothic architecture there that you see. This, and I forgive me because I can never pronounce, these names. I could try it. I don't think I'm going to get it right. I think it's Betsucoid, but it's located in northern Wales. So again, this is some of the scenery that you will be seeing as you're passing through these amazing cities and towns and just the countryside. So launching into the first itinerary that you could choose, this is England and Wales, 8 days. You have, just keep in mind, on all of the itineraries, breakfast is every day, with the exception of the first day, although I know for the Ireland tour, we did include breakfast that day. But anyway, so 13 meals are included. I have listed there 4-star vacation, and really what that means is based on the hotels. So the hotels that we're utilizing that have been chosen, they're all 4-star accommodations, fantastic accommodations that actually have been chosen for all of these. So the price you see, $61.29 per person, land only, based on twin occupancy. $69.99 for the single rate, land only again. So if you want a single room, you've got that option as well. Marianne, I know that you're selling airfare as well as insurance. I don't know if you might want to mention anything about that at all.
No, because they're both quoted individually, so it's going to depend exactly on where you're coming from, because we have ladies all over Canada and the US traveling with us. and that the insurance is also quoted because it's going to include then your flight and the flight cost. It will also be dependent on your date of birth and maybe, depending on your date of birth, maybe some of your medical history. But to note also, those are Canadian prices. So for our American friends, if you want to convert that to US dollars, you're looking at, for the double occupancy rate, right now it would be about $46.50 US. So there's considerable savings when you're converting to the US dollar, Annalise.
Right, right. And thank you for that, because I don't know where my mind went to, but I did not include the US dollar. So thanks for that, Marianne. Okay, so some of basically the highlights that you'll see on this tour, you know, there's visits to the British Museum, the Tower of London, Kew Gardens, Stratford upon Avon. You have some of the wonderful photos there. I mean, there's certainly lots included. Brecon Beacons National Park, a steam train ride in Snowdonia National Park. There's a visit to the Slate Museum, Carnarvon Castle. So really, certainly a good variety, I think, and it will really give you a good overview, you know, for this particular tour that you're visiting. So hotel accommodations, I just wanted to kind of give you a glimpse of where you'll be staying. So you have the Radisson Blu Edwardian Hotel in London for 3 nights. There's also the Mercure Hotel in Cardiff for a night. There's also the Royal Victoria Hotel in Snowdonia for 2 nights. The Doubletree by Hilton in Stratford upon Avon for 1 night. And the McDonald Windsor Hotel in Windsor for 2 nights. So again, that's kind of what I meant when I said 4-star rating. It's based on the hotels. They all are 4-star hotels, which again is not luxury top of the line, although you do have some in there that I would say they are, but beautiful, beautiful properties. So again, for England and Wales, basically, as I said before, an overnight flight arriving into London, and then you'll have a panoramic city tour of London. You'll have a visit to the Tower of London. You'll see the crown jewels, which are absolutely incredible. That's actually one of my favorites, I think, when I'm in London. I always love to go to the Tower of London and just kind of drool at the jewels that you see there, whether they be, you know, on the scepters or on the crowns. I mean, they're just absolutely amazing to be able to see. So we do have, of course, you know, with the panoramic tour, you'll view the Houses of Parliament. You'll see Big Ben, which is the clock tower that chimes. I don't know if it's still under renovations. I was last there, I think, 2 years ago. I can't remember if it's under renovations or not, but anyway, still standing majestically there, overlooking London. Buckingham Palace, of course, you'll pass by and be able to take some photos of Buckingham Palace. There's the National Gallery. I mean, London is such a vibrant city, so much to see and do. So then you'll make your way, so that's a panoramic tour. So after you arrive at the airport, that's what you're gonna set off to do. Then we'll take you to your hotel where you'll check in. And then in the evening, so you'll have some free time, but in the evening then you'll meet up to have dinner at the hotel restaurant. Okay, so always a busy day one, because I think everybody's, you know, dealing with a little bit of jet lag, maybe kind of a slower paced day. So we try to make that easy for you. Day 2 now, we will have we'll head out after breakfast. We'll do a guided tour of London, visiting Westminster Abbey. As I mentioned before, you have that Gothic architecture that it's known for. There's the impressive tombs that are there in the cathedral itself. There's the monuments as well. Then we'll go to visit the famous London Eye, and that's the Ferris wheel that you see there. Fantastic to take that. You get 360-degree views of the city. It's a great photo opportunity with the London Eye. It's the world's highest observation whale. And then moving on, a visit to St. Paul's Cathedral. Again, the architect, Sir Christopher Wren, had designed the cathedral itself, and it was built 1675 to 1710. The original cathedral was actually destroyed in the Great Fire of London in 1666. And then you're in for a treat where now you'll be able to see London from the water. So kind of a little bit of a different perspective. So it'll just be a short cruise on the River Thames, but you know, I think you'll enjoy that. And then it's followed by a dinner at a local English pub. So again, you always got to investigate all of those pubs. That's when you get the opportunity to really mingle with the locals, talk with them, learn a little bit more about their culture. So on to day 3. Here again, now we have a visit to the British Museum. There's over, you know, 2 million years of, you know, art, culture, history, that lots to see and explore while you're there. Then we have a visit to, you know, the famous Kew Gardens, which is, again, certainly a treat. In 1759, it was really just a 9-acre estate. Now today, it covers over 300 acres. So again, rose gardens, waterfalls, rock gardens, just incredibly beautiful. And then we continue on and we'll have afternoon tea, which I think is always a treat. I love to have, you know, the little sandwiches, and you know, you feel like you're so dainty when you're having tea, but it's really a nice treat. You enjoy the wonderful tea, scones, usually with the clotted cream and the jam, you know, just wonderful little pastries. And again, I just think it's a treat. And this is at the Wallace Collection, where there are works of art dating from the 18th and 19th century. So again, kudos to you, Marianne, you and your team, for just really including some nice, definitely some nice attractions.
I have to say it was mostly Debbie. I can't. Debbie really worked hard. These tours took her a while to put together, because it was very important for her to have specific things included and not to miss anything while keeping a flow of the tour. So a lot of work went into it, and that's all kudos to Debbie, who works hard to put a lot of these tours together and is very precise in what she wants. And so
there you go. We love that, because you do. I mean, you know, those of you on the call, you know, you want balance as well. You don't want it to be too jam-packed, but yet you want, I mean, let's face it, you're traveling, you're going on vacation, you're going to a different part of the world, and you want to see as much as you can as well. So
yeah,
great job to Debbie. Let her know, you know, I don't know if she's on the call, but kudos, Debbie, if you're listening.
and Big Ben renovations should be finished by the time we get there. They're due to be finished in this year.
Yay, love to hear that.
Early next year, so hopefully, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. I know, guys, that's what we have to put up with sometimes, you know, about attractions that are, you know, been around for a long time, and they do need some facelifts every now and then. I can hear what they're saying. Help me out. Okay, so moving on to day 4. Here we will leave London now. We'll make our way west to visit Stonehenge. I was just here 2 years ago, and oh my God, I lucked out the day that I was there. There were virtually no people there, which, you know, as we all know when we're touring, it's, you know, that's unheard of sometimes. So, but again, we have Stonehenge, one of Britain's most celebrated monuments. It's situated on the Salisbury Plain. It's comprised of the remains of a double circle of these monoliths. And it's just so neat to be out there, because this is all that's there. You just have the stones. So they date back to approximately 3000 BC. It's believed to have been used by the ancient Druids for sun worship or as a burial ground. So I know there's always, you know, controversy over everything, but you'll when you arrive here, you'll learn about this from your travel director. And again, great stop there at Stonehenge. And then we'll continue on to the town of Bath. You know, setting out, doing a little bit of a panoramic tour. And I see that, Debbie, you made it on, so you were listening. Thank you for these wonderful itineraries. So on to Bath, like I said, it's known for the natural hot springs that they have that date back to almost 2,000 years. So again, you have the opportunity, you're going inside, you're going to do the tour, you'll be able to go down into the pump room, and they're really some of the best preserved Roman sites north of the Alps. So again, another nice visit. And yeah, so that's, you'll have a little bit of time in Bath here. And then we'll continue and make our way to Cardiff, which is the capital of Wales. And Wales is a great little, you know, country in itself, that it actually is home to the most number of castles than any other, you know, European country. So go figure, little tiny Wales. You're in for a treat this evening because you are going to have a visit to Cardiff Castle, which dates back to the 11th century. And it was extensively rebuilt in the 1860s. But after touring the castle, this is where you will actually have a medieval banquet. You're going to have dinner here, entertainment. Again, I did this 2 years ago, and it was just absolutely phenomenal. It was my first visit there for the dinner, and they do such a phenomenal job. And be prepared, because there could be a little bit of audience participation. They make it a lot of fun, but they really, really put on a good show. And the food was fantastic. So again, you really, really are in for a great treat. Day 5, here again, now we'll have a panoramic tour. When I say panoramic tour of Cardiff or at London or any of the cities that I'm bringing up, panoramic tour means that you are basically doing like a quick drive through the town. So you'll do a drive through Cardiff, just really to see some of the major attractions, but you're viewing them from the motor coach. Okay, so I just wanted to make you aware of that. You'll still have opportunity to take pictures. I've taken many pictures from the windows of the coach, and they still come out amazing. But again, you'll get the background, the history about the places that are being pointed out to you. Then we continue on to travel through Brecon Beacons National Park. And the park actually covers 519 square miles. And over half of the park is over 1,000 feet above sea level. So again, you're in a beautiful place. And here you have another little treat that's been included for you, which is taking the steam train ride through Snowdonia National Park. And again, it's one of the best ways really to enjoy this magnificent landscape that you're going through. So again, another little, a little treat. And Snowdonia Park it's the largest national park in England and Wales. So again, it just kind of gives you an idea of the park that you'll be exploring. And then you'll check into the Royal Victoria Hotel and settle in before you have dinner on your own. Okay, so there are some included dinners as well as some that would be on your own, which I think again is a nice balance, because it's good to be able to go off and explore on your own and just to have kind of some downtime, quiet time. Although the reality is, I know when I've been out on these tours that everybody is always like, well, where are you going for dinner? What are you doing for dinner? So you all still end up in the group anyway, right? Marian, you're laughing, so I think you agree with me on that. Okay, so moving on, we have here again, after breakfast, heading out to go visit the National Slate Museum, which really brings the slate industry to life with the exhibits and the demonstrations that you'll see here. So the museum is set in the original Victorian quarry. And, again, it's the heart of the industry that once roofed the world. So I myself think that slate is particularly beautiful. Growing up in the house I grew up in, we had some slate, and it's just beautiful. I've never done this tour, but I think this would be pretty fascinating. Then we'll have a little stop to have some photos of Mount Snowdon before having some free time in Betws Coed. So again, it's just, I think, a wonderful day. Then moving on to Carnarvon to visit the castle. And it's one of the most impressive castles in all of Britain. So again, another treat, and great to have some castles included, because who does not love a castle? So again, it's back to your hotel in Snowdonia. where the evening is free for you to relax, unwind, and have dinner on your own. The next day now, what we're going to do, this is day 7, we will then make our way to Stratford-upon-Avon, which is the birthplace of William Shakespeare. And he was born in 1564, and his house is really kind of interesting. It's great to tour around, beautiful gardens, and then again, I think you're in for another treat because you have another little cruise on the River Avon. So again, another good way to enhance your visit in this town. And then you will check into your hotel, which will be in Stratford-upon-Avon, as I said before, at the Hilton Hotel. And you'll have free time then before actually heading out the next day to the area called the Cotswolds. And this is a beautiful, charming area. You see the pictures right there on the right-hand, top right-hand side. The stone in this area, so many of the homes that you'll see passing through these quaint villages, the stone is like of a honey color. So it's just beautiful as you're passing through, just to see, you know, the architecture and again, the color of the stone. And it's an area really that has remained unchanged for over 200 years. So again, when I say quaint, very quaint, cobblestone villages, very, very pretty. Then we'll have a walking tour. Again, I think it's great that you've included the walking tour because it's always nice to be able to kind of go out and about. Not fast-paced, ladies. It's really kind of, you know, stopping along the way as the guide is giving you commentary. So you will have, you know, the walking tour to see some of the famous colleges, Christ Church, Oxford University, you know, and New College as well. You'll be able to pass by Oxford Canal, the Bridge of Sighs, and the Story Museum. So you'll hear about, you know, all of these places as you're passing through. You'll be able to stop for another photo opportunity at Bodleian Library, which is the second largest of its kind throughout Britain. And then now you're going to then depart and make your way to Windsor, where you'll stay at the McDonald Windsor Hotel, and which is a great hotel, great location. You're kind of across the street diagonal to Windsor Castle, as well as to a pedestrianized shopping area. So again, Windsor, great little town. Who doesn't want to see Windsor Castle? So we've of course included a visit here for you. And you know, first you'll have a guided tour of Windsor, and then you'll be able to have the visit to Windsor Castle. So for those of you, you know, I'm sure you're probably all aware, but Windsor Castle is an official residence for the Queen. And you'll be able to, you know, go in, visit some of the public rooms. It covers 13 acres. There's also, of course, St. George's Chapel that's located right there on the grounds. And, you know, after you're done with the castle visit, then you have the opportunity to spend the afternoon and evening to explore more on your own, to do some shopping, and, you know, to dine in the evening for dinner. So that is our England and Wales itinerary in a quick nutshell.
Liz, someone had a question.
Sure.
They were just wondering about the travel times between the different towns and areas that we visit. Can you talk to that a little bit?
Yeah, so great question, and thank you for bringing that up, because, you know, we'll always depart obviously in the morning after breakfast. Breakfast is typically served, you know, the dining room usually opens around 7 a.m. You know, so as you all know, of course, in the climate that we're living in with COVID, there are certain protocols that are put out there. Now, we're still determining exactly what's going on. I can tell you what I'm hearing now. Even though CIE, we're currently not operating any tours right now through the end of the year. But we will start up again, obviously, you know, come March. But I know, you know, so what I'm getting at here is that, like, reservations. In the past, we used to just go down to the dining room to have, you know, breakfast, or go to the dining room for dinner, you know, at a set time. With your group, we shouldn't have any issues. You'll all eat together, I'm assuming, because you're a small enough group. But where the dining room opens at 7, and in the past, you know, you could pretty much go at 7 o'clock, you know, onwards to go have breakfast. I don't yet know, and of course we'll communicate this to Marianne. You know, is there a set time that you have to go and have breakfast? Would it be 7:30? Would it be, you know, 7:45? But typically, just so you know, we give you time for breakfast, then we head out after breakfast, depending upon the day, and especially if we're moving from one city to go to another city to overnight, there's a little bit more sometimes of travel time. We may leave at 8:30 in the morning to head out to go do all of our sightseeing. It could be 9 o'clock in the morning, okay? So, but the reality is that you're not on the coach typically for, you know, any more than about an hour and a half, okay? Because we're gonna stop for restroom breaks, a refreshment break, coffee break, lunch, whatever the case may be, okay? So typically not on a coach any longer than an hour and a half, maximum of 2 if we're trying to push it if it's a longer day. So I hope that helps to answer that question.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem. So as I said, so the England and Wales tour ends on day 10. And for those of you, that's what you chose for a vacation and want to go home, then that's fine. Your flight back home, or if you wanted to combine it with the Scotland tour, then, you know, you would have a flight to Glasgow. So we'll move into the Scotland itinerary. And again, here are just some of the attractions that you're going to see. This is one of my favorite, Urquhart Castle. You've got the ruins here overlooking Loch Ness. Leonange Cottage, just an example of one of the thatched roof cottages that you might see as you're traveling through the countryside. Always a treat to see because this is a dying art, the thatched roofs. Beautiful, beautiful though. Glam Castle, you will have a visit here. Little foreboding there, that sky. And for those of you who know Glam Castle, it's was a setting for Macbeth. So, you know, I just loved this photo that marketing gave me because it's kind of like, you know, it's actually a beautiful castle. But we just happened to get it, I guess, on kind of a little bit of a gloomy day. But anyway, so the itinerary again, it's an 8-day itinerary. And the length would be June 16th through the 23rd. Marianne, I'll have you chime in for the US prices if you want, but Canadian, we have it set at $59.99 per person, land only twin basis. And then a single room would be the $74.99 rate, land only.
So for the double rate for US dollars, that would be about 4,500 US dollars. Give an idea of the conversion.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, because I don't know who's on from the US here, but great information. So, so there again, so you've got 11 meals included that will consist of breakfast and some dinners. And then again, another 4-star vacation, like I said, based upon the hotels that we'll be utilizing. So some of the highlights that you have included, you have a cruise on Loch Lomond, you have Armadale Castle, Ellendonan Castle, Culloden Visitor Center. I love all of these. So great choices there, Debbie. Thank you for that. There's also Urquhart Castle that you just saw the photo earlier. A visit to St. Andrews, which of course when many think of St. Andrews, I mean, it's the name of the town. For those who are golfers, you think of St. Andrews, you know, golf, the courses, the old course and so forth. But it's a beautiful town, lovely town with the cathedral, with the college. Remember, this is where Will met Kate, and you'll see where he proposed to her or what have you. Just a beautiful place. Glam Castle that you saw, and of course the imposing, beautiful Edinburgh Castle as well. So those are just some of the highlights that are included on this particular tour. And the hotels. So we have in Glasgow for one night, we'll be staying at the Grand Central Hotel. Then in Argyll for one night, we have the Bridge of Orkney Hotel. We also have in Inverness 2 nights at Kingsmill Hotel. In Perth for a night, the Maryshell Hotel. And the Intercontinental, the George in Edinburgh for 2 nights. So again, some great hotels that you'll be staying in. Again, all 4-star accommodations. So moving on again to the day-by-day itinerary, overnight flight, you'll arrive in Glasgow, and then we'll set off again on a panoramic tour of the city of Glasgow, just to see some of the highlights. Glasgow, compact city, a university city, beautiful little city. And again, we'll take a drive through. You'll see, drive through George Square. You'll see some of the statues of Sir Walter Scott, Queen Victoria, some of the other influential people from this area. You'll also then see the Victorian City Chambers that opened in 1888 by Queen Victoria. There's a visit to St. Mungo's Cathedral. The saint, his tomb is located in the lower crypt of the cathedral. And there's also then a visit to Provon's Lordship, which is Glasgow's oldest house, built in 1471. So you'll be able to go in and see that. It was originally part of a hospital, and it's been extensively refurbished. And then you'll transfer to your hotel, get settled in, and then have a welcome drink and dinner with your fellow travelers. So again, kind of we make it a little bit easy on day one, as I said, try to keep it a little bit low key. We know that you're all a little bit tired from the flight. But then the next day now, we will head out. We'll stop at Loch Lomond, which is Scotland's longest loch. It measures 18 miles. It's also part of the Trossachs National Park. And then we'll take a leisurely cruise on the lake, and you'll just get to see some amazing views. It's a beautiful, pristine area. You'll get commentary as you're cruising the lake. And like I said, just a beautiful area. We'll have a stop at the Ballochcastle Country Park before then making our way to the Glencoe region. I love the Glencoe region. It's your tour director will tell you about the, what took place, the massacre of Glencoe that took place here between the Campbells and the McDonalds. It's pretty fascinating. It's very sad. I won't tell you about it now because I think the tour director does a really great job as you're driving through the area. And then they tend to play some music just to give you kind of, to set the scene. Then we will then go and check into your hotel, again, the Bridge of Orkney Hotel, and for your overnight stay and dinner at the hotel. Day 3, we will then, after breakfast, we'll head out to Mallock and we'll have a ferry ride, a short ferry ride to Armadale. And we'll have a visit to Armadale Castle. It was once home to the Clan MacDonald's chief. So you'll be able to get a little insight about this clan. Definitely a very influential clan. And the castle dates back as early as the 17th century. There's not much that really remains here. The castle was abandoned in 1925. But you do have the visitor center, there's the museum and the gardens that you'll be able to walk through and really kind of get a feel for what the castle was, what it was when it was not in ruins. And then you'll return back to the mainland via the scenic Skye Bridge. Just again, a beautiful, beautiful scenery as you're passing through. And then we'll have the stop at Ellendonan Castle. This is the most photographed castle throughout Scotland. So you'll be able to just really take some beautiful pictures here. And again, just learn about the history of this castle. There's at least 4 different versions of the castle that have existed as a feudal history of Scotland unfolded throughout the centuries on this site. We'll continue on into Inverness, where again, we'll check into the hotel and you'll have dinner here at the hotel and the restaurants. Okay, so that's day 3. Day 4, again, after breakfast, we'll then head out to Urquhart Castle. As I mentioned, these are ruins now, but back, in its heyday, it was one of the largest castles in Scotland. And it's situated right there on Loch Ness. Again, another beautiful, pristine area. And, as you're touring around, you might be looking for, Nessie. You might be looking for that elusive creature, the Loch Ness Monster. So definitely, you know, be on the lookout and just have a nice leisurely paced walk, you know, as you're touring the ruins and this area here. You'll then return back to Inverness again. You'll have some time on your own before you have dinner with the rest of the group. So just some, again, amazing, outstanding visits that you have included. Day 5 is another great day. I love the inclusions here as well. You have a visit to the Culloden Visitor Center. And this is another great, I love the visitor center. I've been here a couple of times. The first time when there was no visitor center, and I highly recommend, the tour director will give you insight into this area, where it's all about the battle that took place between the British government forces and Prince Charles Edward Stuart, otherwise known as Bonnie Prince Charlie. And it took place on April 16th, 1746. And with all the planning that took place for, you know, for this battle to take place, interestingly enough, it was over in under an hour. So, you know, you want to go into the visitor center, you'll learn more about, you know, what they used as far as, you know, to fight in the battle. There's a wonderful little room that you go into. I think it's maybe, I don't know if anyone's been, but it's like a 4x4 room, I think, all white walls. But what they do is they show this incredible video. It's almost like you're in the middle of the battlefield and you've got the battle happening around, you know, all around you on all 4 walls. And then basically you go out onto what was the battlefield, just to kind of walk around and really see, you know, just where it all took place. So again, a great visit at Culloden. Then we continue on for something a little bit different. We go to visit Blair Castle, which was the home of the Duke of Atholl. You'll have a tour of the castle. You'll see some of the collections that are in here, the furniture, the china, the portraits, the armor. And then we have a visit, big surprise, to a whiskey distillery. So I'm not really a whiskey fan, but of course I always try it when I'm over in you know, Scotland or even in Ireland, and I have to say it's pretty smooth. So definitely, you know, the tour is great. You'll be able to see how the whiskey is made. You'll be able to do some of the tastings as well. So definitely enjoy that. This was,
if you do both Ireland and Scotland, you can get the difference between Scottish whiskey and Irish whiskey.
absolutely, and they are spelled differently. One without an E and one with an E. So
oh, I didn't even realize that. Whoa,
yeah, yeah. So we'll have
track of that when I'm making my.
Yeah, exactly, right. But so anyway, so again, who doesn't love the whiskey distilleries? So then we'll make our way on to Perth, check into our hotel there, and again, you've got the evening at leisure, but then free time also to have dinner if you want in one of the pubs that Perth is known for. Okay, day 6, we're on to a visit to Glam Castle. As I mentioned before, the setting for Macbeth and the childhood home of the Queen Mother. So great castle. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. It's, you'll get to walk through and see the, you know, the rooms, the furnishings, the portraits. The guide, at least the guide that I had when I was there, was quite a character. So he really made the castle come to life with some of the stories. And then it's on to St. Andrews. So as I said, St. Andrews, you know, you'll have some time on your own here. So I know some will probably run over to the golf course, maybe take a picture on that iconic bridge that you always see. I actually mini golfed at St. Andrews, and it was like, I'm not a golfer, but knowing what St. Andrews means to golfers, it was an incredible highlight. I also went over, saw the cathedral. Again, it's a charming little town. It absolutely is beautiful. And if you do have any golf enthusiasts on the call, or those of you who will be traveling, you know, doing this tour, if you have friends or family members that are golf aficionados, there is, trust me, there's a golf shop, so you can go buy some souvenirs for them of St. Andrews. They will absolutely love you for that. But again, it's just a beautiful, charming, easy to walk around little town. So you'll have definitely some free time here. Then it's on your way to Edinburgh, the capital of Scotland. I love Edinburgh because, again, Edinburgh to me is another compact city. What I love about it as well is that no matter where you're walking throughout the city, Edinburgh Castle is perched on that craggy cliff, and it really just kind of follows you everywhere. Wherever you are, whenever you look up, it's like you see the castle surrounding you. So again, fantastic city to visit. In the evening, again, you'll be able to, dinner on your own at leisure to go out and about in the pubs. And then the next day is when we'll actually set off and explore the city of Edinburgh. So again, we'll do a guided tour of Edinburgh, see some of the highlights. They have the Royal Mile, which you have the Old Town and the New Town, which to me it's all old because it's just everything's old there. But it's the architecture. I mean, again, you'll see it as you're traveling through. Your guide will point everything out to you. You've got some narrow medieval buildings. The Royal Mile is indeed 1 mile. It takes you from Edinburgh Castle down to Holyrood Palace. So again, wonderful little shops, great pubs, restaurants. If you're of Scottish ancestry and you know what your tartan is, you could even get a kilt made if you wanted to, or be on the lookout for your tartan to buy, some kind of souvenirs, whether it be a scarf or something, maybe a throw, or a blanket. But absolutely, Edinburgh to me is one of my favorite cities. You will have, of course, the tour of Edinburgh Castle. And, again, you kind of go at your own pace, go into some of the little rooms there. And, you've got the cannons that you see, in the castle as you're walking around. Again, being able to view some of the, the scepters and the crowns and so forth. Just absolutely an amazing, amazing visit. And of course, the views that you get of Edinburgh when you're up on top at the castle are to die for. So again, you will have the afternoon at leisure, again, to really just explore the city on your own and go shopping, whatever it is you might want to do. And then that evening is the Scottish evening with dinner and entertainment. Again, another wonderful, fun-filled event that I just want to, make you aware too. Make sure they have this ode to the haggis, because the haggis is a Scottish specialty. I'm not going to tell you what it is. Definitely you want to try it because it's a specialty, definitely a food specialty. And maybe have a shot of whiskey to go with it. Okay, so definitely try it. It's definitely a treat. But within the Scottish show, they do this whole presentation of the haggis with the Robert Burns poem, but they come out with the haggis on the dome-covered, platter and so forth, and they make it fun. Okay, so that is that was your last day actually in Edinburgh, and then again, for those of you who are heading home, we're all going to head to the airport, but for those heading home, you come back to Canada or the US. Or for those that might want to combine this with the Ireland trip, now you'll basically fly to Dublin Airport. And we'll then begin the tour of Ireland. Okay, so again, just some of the sites that you will see. Giant's Causeway, located up in Northern Ireland. We have the Titanic experience that's located in Belfast. So we have a visit there. I'll talk about that in a minute. And of course, the amazing, beautiful Cliffs of Moher on the west coast of Ireland. So those are just some of the inclusions. And this is an 11-day tour, 19 meals consisting of some all breakfasts and some dinners. June 23rd through July 3rd is the duration. Pricing, $55.29 Canadian per person double, single $69.99. Marianne, do you have the US rates for that?
Yes, the double occupancy rate is about $4,200 US dollars. Just to also mention, Liz a chance to catch your breath.
Thank
I know
you.
how hard it is to talk that long.
It is. Thank you.
Just in all our pricing, the inclusions of the accommodations, obviously, transportation, the tours included, the meals are included. We also include the gratuities. So that, if anybody's done a tour where you're always having to reach in your pocket here or there every time you have a little tour or something, or even the tour guide at the end, that is all covered in the price of your tour. So the gratuities are included ahead of time. The other thing is, if you would like to have an extra hotel night or two at the beginning or the end of any of these tours, we can arrange that too. Debbie and Irene in the office would be more than happy to help you with that and to give you pricing on that. I think we actually have some pricing even on the website. If not, they can give it to you for pre and post night hotels, and it would be at the same hotels that we either finish at or start at, so you don't have to change hotels there.
Yeah. And I think that's a great, something wonderful to offer, because, for those of you who might experience jet lag, it's nice to get in a day early, really just to kind of catch your breath and be ready to go. So, and also including the gratuities is a plus as well too. You've done a great job, obviously, with, less out-of-pocket expenses, the better it is. So you can all have really an idea of what you're dealing with. Obviously, it's of a personal nature as far as people always ask, how much extra money should I bring? It all depends. I don't know if you're a drinker and want to go to the pubs every night and, lunches, you could get away with a bowl of soup and the bread that they have. I mean, totally, everybody's got personal, preferences. So that's always a hard one, I think, for me to gauge.
And shopping is a big one in all of these destinations.
Huge, huge. I'm one of those that, while I'm not a shopper, I'm always thinking about birthday or Christmas gifts for people. And the things I always gravitate to, which, kind of shoot me on this one, is like the blankets, because they're so beautiful.
And textiles, blankets and sweaters, and they're so beautiful. Our trip to Ireland, I think almost everybody came back over their limit of how much they were supposed to be able to bring back.
It's so
yeah, you get, and I'm not a huge shopper either, but you just get like drawn in by the beautiful, the jewelry, what they have there is just so unique and really beautiful. So be prepared for shopping. Even if you're not a shopper, you will come home with stuff.
You will. We can assure you that you will. And one thing that I always try to share with people, just kind of like a tip, is that, CIE allows only one piece of checked luggage. Okay. And that's because of everything fitting, on the motor coach, under the motor coach, and things like that. Of course, the airlines will allow an extra piece. You can bring what you want, you'll pay for it. But the beauty is, what I tell people is, if you are planning on buying some souvenirs or what have you, maybe bring another carry-on that's collapsible that you can always check, when you're flying home. So, just my little tip there. I've been traveling, it's like forever, in the travel industry for 38 years. So just pick up along the way. Okay, so last itinerary, and I hope we're okay with time. If you need to cut me off, Marianne, because of, no, keep going. Okay, so Ireland, what we have here, as I said, June 23rd through July 3rd, 11 days. So let's go into some of the tour highlights. Titanic Belfast, just an amazing attraction to visit. Giant's Causeway, the same thing. Again, you've chosen some really fantastic attractions. Bleak Pottery Factory, Rathbone Farm. Who doesn't want to visit to a local person's home to see how a farm operates? The Cliffs of Moher, the House of Waterford Crystal. Again, be careful with the shopping there. Dunbrody Famine Ship. Again, Jameson Whiskey Distillery, as Miriam mentioned, another distillery there. So hotel accommodations in Belfast, we're there for 2 nights at the Grand Central Hotel. Moving on to Donegal, an area near and dear to my heart. I love this area, Harvey's Point. Beautiful property, gorgeous property. Some of the largest hotel rooms I've ever seen in my life at a hotel. You'll walk in and say, I think they put me in the wrong room. Seriously, they're huge. Then we have Ballynahinch Castle, which again, a beautiful, beautiful hotel out in the Connemara region. Beautiful area here. And the Great Southern for 2 nights in Killarney, west coast, southwest coast of Ireland, beautiful hotel. And the Granville Hotel in Waterford, another fun place. Before I forget, just an FYI, if you're into eating oatmeal for breakfast, these guys do it the best way I've ever seen. If you want to have your oatmeal with a shot of Bailey's or a shot of Jameson's or both, mixed with a little more cream, you absolutely can. I tried mine with Bailey's and it was like breakfast and dessert at the same time. It was absolutely incredible. So if you're into oatmeal, try it, guys. The porridge is amazing. And then your last 2 nights at the Ashling Hotel in Dublin. So again, all great properties, beautifully located, whether they're in the countryside or in the downtown areas, you're in for a treat with the hotels. So again, arrive into Dublin on day 1. Like I said, a little bit different. We're including breakfast on day 1, which normally we don't, but for Ireland we are, because we're going to stop at the Man of War restaurant, which that's a treat in itself. That dates back to, oh my goodness, 1595. The pub dates back to. So you'll have breakfast here. And the reason we're including that as well is because now we're going to make our way to Belfast. So you asked about timing. So to get from Dublin to Belfast is going to take probably about 2.5 hours, okay? Now Belfast, just so you know, is the capital of Northern Ireland, because Ireland is broken into 2 areas. You have Northern Ireland, where the current currency is actually the pound sterling. And then you have the Republic of Ireland, where Dublin is the capital, and they have the euro is the currency, okay? There's a lot included here. Again, I don't know personal preference, what you might buy. You can always put things on a credit card, but I wouldn't exchange a lot of money, particularly for the pound sterling, because remember, whatever you exchange, you're either keeping it until you go back again, or there's no sense really to exchange it back to your currency. Just again, another little tidbit of information. So again, we're really just having breakfast, making our way up to Belfast, checking into the hotel, and then the day is at leisure, okay? You'll have dinner with your group that evening. And then day 2, this is where we'll then head out to visit the Titanic Belfast. So it's an amazing visit. You could stay here all day. I'm not kidding. What you see when you arrive, so you see the picture in the upper right-hand corner, and you may not have realized it, but basically that's the bow of a ship. It's made to kind of represent the Titanic. It's the bow of a ship, what you're looking at, and it is, as you look up and up and up, you realize that it's scaled to what the height of the Titanic was when she was built. And again, the Titanic was built in Belfast. So the dock is behind the building. You can go out back to look at that. But inside, it's just amazing. There are different areas. You're going to see basically a representation of a stateroom, what the cabins looked like. You're going to see the grand staircase. There's audio, so it's an audio and visual. You go at your own pace. You're hearing a lot of the audio. At one point, you come to a glass floor, and it's like you're looking down into the wreckage of the Titanic. So it goes from basically the ship being built, and that's a really another cool little room to go into as well. It's a ride, and it's almost like you're in, you know, the bowels of the ship when they're building the ship and putting the rivets in, and it's just, I mean, it's just mind-blowing the way they created this exhibit. At the very end, that's when you come to, obviously, the Mayday calls. So it's really from the ship being built all the way to the sinking of the ship. Again, just a brilliant job they did with the creation of this. And I think it's still voted Northern Ireland's #1 attraction. I mean, it's just really has gotten rave reviews. So that's really kind of your day in Belfast, and then you'll have free time on your own. The city itself is of a Victorian architecture, So you'll have time to tour around there. Go to the Crown. I always get it wrong. The name of the Crown Saloon that's right there in Belfast Center. I don't know if you remember the name, Marianne, or not, but it's beautiful. Look up and you'll see the sailing. It's absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so you'll have dinner at a local pub with the group that evening. And then the next day you're going to head out, and now you're going to make, you're leaving Belfast, you're making your way kind of northwest up into the, along the Antrim coast, which is absolutely breathtaking. You have what's called the 9 Glens of Antrim, just incredible views of the mountains, the valleys, the coastline. And here you'll have a visit to Giant's Causeway. And Giant's Causeway is the picture in the upper right, where you have these hexagonal basalt columns, which the tour director will give you insight into it, that, you know, basically it was the result of a volcanic eruption that occurred 60 million years ago. However, he might give you some cause to think that there were a couple of giants, one in Northern Ireland, one in Scotland, that were fighting over a princess, and that this causeway extended over to Scotland, and because of the princess, they had to fight the giants, and the causeway was all broken up because it once connected Ireland to Scotland. So that's really a myth, but you can choose what you want to believe. So that's a visit to the Giant's Causeway. Again, a great visitor center there, a wonderful gift shop as well. And then we're going to make our way, again, continuing to travel west as, sorry, not traveling west all the way yet. We're going to stop in Derry, otherwise known as Londonderry at times. And here you'll enjoy a walking tour. Now, Derry is a walled city, so your local guide will show, obviously you'll be walking along the walls of the city, but it's just, again, another wonderful compact city. You'll be able to see the Guild Center, and I want you to notice when you do go into the Guild Hall, look at the stained glass windows. They're absolutely magnificent, just beautiful. This picture on the right bottom corner here, what you're looking at there is the Peace Bridge, because remember, again, there were the troubles that took place between Northern Ireland and the south of Ireland. So they built this bridge that represents peacefulness. And there is peacefulness today. A lot of people will ask me, you know, is it safe to travel to the north? It's absolutely safe to travel. So again, and it's a beautiful area that you want to see. So again, now we'll continue further west into Donegal, and you'll overnight at Harvey's Point. In the morning, we're going to head out, and you'll have some free time in Donegal for a little bit, and then you're going to visit the Balik Pottery Factory. So what you see there is, many of you may be familiar with it, you have these amazing skilled craftsmen that actually, you know, make these beautiful pieces from the pottery, but it's known for the shamrocks. I don't know if that gives you a clear picture of what the design is on those plates and the teapot and so forth, but they're known for the shamrocks on their pieces. And then from, continuing from Balik, we'll then make our way to the Connemara region. Again, now we're in the west coast of Ireland, and we'll make our way to the beautiful resort of Ballynahinch. So you'll overnight here, having dinner with the group that evening at the hotel. And then the next day, you're going to head out. Another treat is the Connemara Marble Factory. Wonderful family-owned, attraction here that you're going to be visiting. You'll see the beautiful green marble that really kind of is indicative of the area that you're visiting. Of course, you'll have time to, you'll have a demonstration, but then you'll also have time to purchase some gifts if you want. And, then you're going to make your way to Galway for a visit there, because what visit wouldn't be complete to Ireland without going to Galway? A fun city, a lively city, very compact, some cobblestones, some pedestrianized shopping area as well. You see the beautiful Spanish Arch. It's a university town, a lot of little pubs there, so you'll have time, I believe, for lunch. And again, just time to explore Galway, and then you will make your way back for a second night at the beautiful Ballynahinch Castle Hotel. Then on day 6, a visit to Rathbone Farm, which again, I've been here. The family is lovely. You'll be able to see the sheep, see, you know, maybe, well, the baby lambs are typically born in like March and April, but obviously you'll still see some of the babies there. It's a 150-year-old farmhouse. And so you'll learn about what life is like on the farm, and you'll be able to experience some of the most amazing scones that you have ever had. Beautiful fresh scones with the cream again and the jam and the wonderful tea, and just have the opportunity to converse.
I still dream about those scones. They're like the best thing I've ever eaten.
Honestly, they really, really are. I mean, it's just, they're magical. That's all I can say.
Everybody took the recipe. I don't know if anybody's been able to reproduce it. I should check with everybody from the tour, but it was like just, oh, so good. And I got to eat a baby lamb too, so that was the highlight.
Which honestly is a treat. It definitely is a treat. And just to learn about, you know, their way of life and everything. I mean, that's what it's like to, I mean, that's why we travel to these incredible places, is to really, you know, get to talk with the locals and just learn about a whole nother life, you know, thousands of miles away. So as we now, you know, leave the farm, leave Rathbone Farm, we'll pass through another area of Ireland called the Burren. And that's this picture you see here in the upper left-hand corner. You know, there's no bad place to visit. Everybody always says what's your favorite place to visit. And honestly, you know, the Burren is definitely, the landscape is rocky, very rocky, a little bit desolate. But in all of that, what you find is that you do see flowers growing out of these rocks, and you're just like, how can this possibly be? So again, just a beautiful area there in the Burren. Then continuing our way to the majestic Cliffs of Moher that you see there in the bottom left picture. And again, beautiful, beautiful area. They rise 700 feet from the Atlantic Ocean. They're, I think, 8 miles in length, I believe that they are. You can walk as close as you want to the edge. I mean, it's just a beautiful, serene place to be. There's a visitor center here as well, so you can go inside. There's like a, I don't even think it's a 10-minute video, but you can go in, you can learn a little bit in the video about what life is like here. There's a lot of bird life here, so if anyone's into bird watching, again, just really a beautiful area. And for those of you who might have seen, you know, some of the Harry Potter movies, the Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, along with Princess Bride, some of the scenes that you would see in those movies were filmed here. So again, just a lovely visit. Then we'll take a quick, short, like 20-minute ferry ride across the River Shannon Estuary as we then make our way into Killarney. Killarney, another great town, very compact, easy to walk around. You're at the Great Southern Hotel. It's right there in the thick of things. A lot of shops. One thing to note, Killarney is known for what they call their singing pubs. So what that means is they have traditional Irish music that they'll play in some of the pubs. So definitely, you know, at nighttime, go out and explore. Beautiful, beautiful area here. I mean, Killarney is home to the Killarney National Park. And again, just another pristine area that you're visiting. Then we have the next morning after breakfast, we will head out. We will go and explore the Ring of Kerry, which is a 100-mile drive through these windy, narrow roads. But again, you're seeing the mountains, you're seeing, you know, the coastline, the lakes. It's absolutely phenomenal as you're driving through. You know, of course, we'll stop for some photo opportunities. We'll go through some of the quaint little villages here. Lots to see, lots to do. We'll stop for lunch somewhere along the way. But there's 24,700 acres of beauty to really explore. So that's what we're going to do on day 7, is going through the Ring of Kerry, seeing the Killarney National Park. And then in the evening, you're in for another treat because we have the Celtic Step Show. And again, that wonderful traditional Irish music, step dancing, you know, that the Irish are known for. So that's, it's just an amazing evening, I think, that you'll be able to experience. Day 8, we have, of course, again, another visit that can't be missed. We're going to see Blarney Castle. And this is where the Blarney Stone is. And obviously, I've kissed it many times, because when you kiss the Blarney Stone, then you get the gift of gab. You get, it's the stone of eloquence. So the Blarney Castle is the ruins, but you can go all the way up to the top, which is where the stone is. But it also offers more than just the Blarney Stone. The grounds of the castle are breathtaking. And I think you're going at a time where you'll see a lot of the flowers in bloom. You can walk around at your own pace. It's absolutely beautiful. So you'll have an opportunity to have some time here. Then you're going to head over to the Marine Bar, and you'll have a little, get together there with just kind of what they call a ceilidh. It's musicians basically breaking out with some music, some sing-alongs maybe, and you'll have a welcome drink here. So again, immersing yourself with the locals, just kind of enjoying, some time with them. Then we'll continue on to Waterford, and beautiful place. Like I said, you're at the Granville Hotel, right there, the water is right across the street. Again, another small little compact town that you're visiting here. And of course, we have a visit to the beautiful House of Waterford Crystal. And this is where, like the ball in Times Square in New York City, that was, that's Waterford Crystal. All those panels are all the Waterford Crystal. So you'll be able to go through, you'll see these craftsmen that are blowing the glass and etching the glass and cutting the glass. It takes, from what I learned, it's like 10 years for a person to become a master craftsman, to actually, they have to go through all these 10 years before they can actually etch the glass. So, or cut the glass, I should say, but amazing. So of course, you come out in the gift shop where you will be able to purchase any souvenir that you want. I mean, you have chandeliers, you have, mirrors, these floor mirrors that you could purchase if you wanted to purchase and send them, ship them home. Jewelry, sky's the limit, just some beautiful pieces here. And then kind of, taking it down a notch a little bit somber, we're going to have a visit to the Dunbrody Famine Ship. Another great visit as well. It's a replica of the original Dunbrody Famine Ship, and it was, they call them famine ships because these were used for people to emigrate to North America from Ireland. And of course, we all know about, the famine that took place in Ireland, and people were looking for a better life. So many of them came to North America, they went to Australia, and they came on boats such like these you're looking at in the bottom right-hand corner. They were built to hold, various ships were built for different, capacities, but let's say they were built for 150 people to take the crossing. Because people were so desperate to, get their family out of Ireland, to go in search of a better life, they were packed sometimes to 300 people. So therefore called a famine ship because, not just for the emigration, but some people died along the way. They never made it to North America or Australia. So very sad stories. You're going to learn all about that. It's also, the ship is located in New Ross, County Wexford. So for those of you who might know, that's where the USA's former President John F. Kennedy, this is where his family was from in Ireland. So again, nice little visit here to Dunbrody Famine Ship, and then we'll continue and make our way to Dublin. So we're in Dublin for 2 nights at the Ashling Hotel, and the next day we'll actually have a city tour of Dublin. Again, a wonderful city to really immerse yourself in. There's so much to see and do. We'll have a city tour. We'll go to the Jameson Whiskey Distillery where you'll see how the whiskey's made, do some tastings, and then you have the afternoon at leisure. So again, lots to see and do. You have Trinity College, which houses the illuminated Book of Kells. They're the 4 Gospels that are all, under glass, and they turn a page every day. You may want to go visit the General Post Office, the GPO, which is known for the 1916 Rising. That was kind of the site where, Ireland wanted to gain their independence from Britain. So, 1916 is when they had this uprising. So that was kind of, they took over the General Post Office. Maybe go see St. Patrick's Cathedral, Christ Church Cathedral, do some shopping. So again, afternoon for you is at leisure. And then in the evening, you're in for another treat again, going over to Johnny Fox's Pub and having another wonderful evening of the Irish entertainment, music, dancing, and really enjoying that for your last night. And then all too sadly, it comes to an end. Day 11, at this point now, everyone's heading home. So I know it's a lot, folks. I thank you for your patience. That was a lot.
Oh, thank you. That was such a wonderful presentation, Liz.
Oh, thank you.
I am just wondering, could you just give us an idea of, in this COVID kind of world we live in, what kind of plans CIE will have going forward, what the tour might look like, social distancing, anything like that, that you can just give a little kind of insight into?
Absolutely. Great. I'm going to bypass that for a minute because you kind of talked about that a second ago, but fantastic question, because that's what's on everybody's mind, of course. How are we emerging, going forward for travel? Trust me, we have our eyes, our ears, every sense on, what is happening, what's going on. For Ireland, of course, they're monitoring, every 2 weeks, what the situation is. I mean, I'm hoping we should be back. We will be back. I mean, we all want to travel. Let's put it that way. So what we're looking at, of course, of what we know right now, and we're still gathering information, and we'll continue to share that with you as we go forward. We'll have information and documents. But the coaches, of course, I mean, everyone's safety is our utmost concern. So coaches will be sanitized often. We'll have the disinfectant, hand sanitizer. We're going to be wiping everything down. I mean, let's face it, there's a lot of things to touch on a motor coach. So we will wipe everything down. We will schedule stops a little bit more frequently, probably. So like I said before, no more than an hour and a half on the coaches from point A to point B before we stop. We'll probably stop even more, like I said, more frequent than an hour and a half, only because, again, restroom area, breaks, what have you. But again, people want to wash their hands too with soap and water, right? So obviously we have to have stops for that, because a coach, doesn't necessarily have, the running water or anything like that. Hotel guest rooms. I'm happy to tell you, I mean, we use vetted hotels that are keeping in line with all of the protocols that have to take place, disinfecting very thoroughly all of the rooms, all of the common areas. From what I'm hearing already now from my team, that's, we have offices in Dublin, we have offices in Edinburgh and London. So the feedback that we're getting from all of them who have been out and about traveling because they want to see what's going on and, see what's happening with the hotels, how they're all adhering to all these requirements. The feedback has been they're doing an amazing job. They are following protocol. Currently I know, like, the public bars, they're open to go grab a drink, but again, they're doing all that social distancing. So there are like the 6 meters apart. They're trying to get the government to get that down to, 3 meters apart versus the 6 meters. I don't know where we're at with that, but again, moving forward, hopefully things will change. But again, it's a continuous basis as far as, staying on top of everything. Now, I know your group sizes tend to be smaller.
Yes. So at maximum 16.
Exactly. So, we're looking at that. There could be a possibility. Now with CIE, our maximum was 44 guests on a tour. Now, 81% of my scheduled itineraries will be now maximum of 26 guests. You have even less. So I'm not sure if it's some of the attractions, if your group will be broken out into even smaller groups. So say you have a maximum of 16, potentially, the attractions, it's up to them, of course, we don't dictate that. But if they want to break you into 2 subgroups of 8 apiece, then we have to adhere to protocol. So they may do that, obviously staggering kind of the visits into, like Lamb Castle or Blair Castle or what have you, the distillery visits, just to kind of social distance and keep people apart. So again, we're acknowledging and we're following whatever their protocols are. So it will be incorporated throughout all of the itineraries, rest assured, because again, like I said, safety is our #1 concern. So thank you for bringing that up, because it's very important, and I know it's on everybody's minds.
No problem. And also, just to let you know about availability on the tours, I can tell you England and Wales is almost full. We only have a few spots on that. But we do have okay availability for Scotland and Ireland. I think they're both about half full right now. So we do have availability. If you are coming as a solo traveler but would like to share a room to take advantage of the double rate, we will match you with another solo traveler so that you can share that room and have the double rate. Any rooms for the double occupancy always have 2 beds, so they're twin rooms with 2 beds, so don't worry about that. And yeah, so and obviously always keeping on up to date with what's happening with COVID. We're watching constantly, us and CIE working together to just bring you a great experience, but a safe experience at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to thank Liz. This has been such a wonderful presentation. I know you've painted a great picture of these destinations and really helped transport us to them and feel like we want to be there now.
I want to be there with all of you on all 3. Seriously, it's time to get back to travel. Again.
Oh yes.
And I thank you for continuing to put these groups out there. So thank you for that.
No, thank you. And does anybody want to ask a question? You can lower it or raise your hand. There's a little button to raise your hand if you want to ask a question, or you can type a question in. If you raise your hand, I can open your microphone and you can actually ask the question of Liz or myself, or just type it in if you just want us to read it. But if there's not any question, I just have to keep scrolling through the little list.
Oh yeah.
If there's not any questions, then we might close it up because we are a bit over time, but it was well worth it, I have to say.
Thank
okay, I don't see any questions, so I think we must have been fairly thorough in our overview. Please, if you think of any questions after the fact, just send them into the Women's Travel Club, so you can send it to info@women's-travel-club.com, or just go on the website and click the button to send us a message. If we can't answer it, we have a direct hotline to Liz, and she will definitely answer it for us. But in the meantime, I just want to thank everybody for taking the time out of their afternoon and joining us. I hope you very much enjoyed it. And we will see you next time on our next travel talk. Thank you so much, Liz. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too, everyone.
Okay. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.